On this food tour of Niš, we kick off with the Serbian staple, Burek, the incredibly tasty and crunchy pastry. Then we continue to the place called Pod Sač to try traditionally prepared meat in these clay pots. And then after that, in the evening, we hit the local tavern to try some more incredible authentic food. After that, it's time for some street food and the famous Serbian Pljeskavica. So, let's begin. The first stop on our Niš food tour will be a local Burek shop. Burek is a staple food, staple breakfast of Serbia, and it was invented back in late 15th century in 1498 by a famous Turkish baker Mehmed Oglu. He came from Istanbul. Serbia was under Ottoman Empire, so the word comes from a Turkish language, Bjorek or Borek. We call it Burek, and our Burek is completely different because through centuries the pork lard, the pork fat was used to develop the pastry. So, with a combination of some very tasty cheese or meat, this pastry is unbeatable. Behind me is a bakery called Fresh Style, and this will be our first stop in Niš. This is a humble-looking bakery, but they make probably the best burek in the city. So, let's check them out. Burek comes in 3 different variants, and these are cheese burek, meat burek, and apple burek. These were the first basic variants, and then some 15-20 years ago pizza burek appeared as well. It goes quite well also, but my favorite is and always will be a cheese burek. And this place does everything in a traditional way. They cut it with this old style cleaver, and the burek smells amazing, looks even better. Nice, greasy, full of cheese. So let's go with the first bite. Now this is the real deal. Nice and fatty. This is how burek should be. Very soft inside. You practically don't need to chew it. And then the top, very crispy, very crunchy, and very tasty cheese. This is a proper burek, and this is how I remember it from years ago. Cheers. And of course, match made in heaven is Serbian burek with some Serbian yogurt. And this is a liquid variant. It's not like Greek, it's not thick, it's similar to kefir, but again a little bit different. Cheers. Proper yogurt, quite acidic, very tasty and refreshing. This was my place to go for breakfast many years ago, and I can see that they kept everything the same, the quality, and even the people working here. After that burek breakfast, we made a quick stop for some hot chocolate and coffee at a cafe called Tramvaj, which means tram. Behind me is a place called Pod Sač, and this is our lunch destination. And this place specializes in traditional Serbian cooking using these huge clay pots. So let's check them out. We just got seated, and this place has some very nice traditional elements. It kind of binds modern and traditional together, but the food is pretty much traditional. In the meantime, we're gonna check out the kitchen and see how these things are done. Unlike the traditional wood-fired oven, this one is electric, but nonetheless the results are incredible. Just look at this gigantic pork shank. It's so juicy, it's so tender. The meat falls apart, baked and roasted in its own juices. It looks and smells beautiful. And then we have this cabbage from the clay pot as well. And then we have some beef from the clay pot. And now we go to the star of the show, the clay pot full of lamb. Bubbling away, perfectly roasted. It just looks and smells amazing. And look at these bones, how white they are. This means that the meat falls off the bone. This is a perfectly cooked, perfectly roasted lamb, and I can't wait to try it. Our soups are here, and we ordered a couple of beef soups, and I ordered lamb soup for myself. This actually in Serbia is called chorba, and this is a type of thicker soup with much more ingredients, much more vegetable. And as you can see, this one is quite thick, full of these bits of lamb meat, some potatoes, carrots, and some other vegetables that were completely stewed, completely cooked inside. As you can see, these lamb shreds, they're completely stewed, as well as the rest of the vegetable inside. There's a lot of paprika, there are some other spices, but then there is this very strong taste of lamb. Nice, hot, it fits perfectly regarding how cold it is outside. Cheers. I will try as well my wife's beef soup, and this is a white soup, again, full of vegetable, some small bits of beef, plentiful of ingredients as well. Very pleasant taste, quite different than the lamb soup, less strong. Of course, you cannot compare the taste of lamb and beef, but anyway, this one has a bit more of onion, lots of vegetables as well, some parsley, very nice soup. Cheers. Our salads are here, and we got fresh shredded cabbage with some oil, salt and vinegar. We got urneve salad, and this is Serbian white cheese with some walnuts and some paprika. And we also got one hot roast pepper in oil. Our main courses arrived as well. And we got svadbarski kupus. Translation would be something like wedding cabbage or wedding time cabbage. This is a traditional dish made of cabbage and pork. And in my other hand is some beef under the sač as well, coming from that clay pot, stewed until perfectly tender and quite juicy. We also got some roast potatoes, also coming from that oven, and we also ordered some lamb, which will come from that huge dish that we just saw in the kitchen with all that freshly stewed and baked lamb. Before I dig into that cabbage, our lamb is here as well, steaming hot, but let's start with the cabbage first. I can't describe how good smell this cabbage has. The color, then these bits of pork, then this sauce that was produced out of this cabbage, and of course probably some spices and other vegetable inside. But let's go with the first bite. Oh. Very nice, very strong taste from all the spices, from all the stewing. And then there's also that sweetness coming from pork fat and pork meat. This is a dish made in heaven. Oh, incredible. Time to try beef from Sač, and I'm gonna dunk it in this juice, and let's go with the first bite. This is one seriously tasty beef. Obviously, a lot of spices were used here to enhance the taste. It's almost spicy on the edge, but again, very tasty. It's not melting in your mouth. You need to use your teeth. But all in all, incredible tasting beef. Time for some vitamins. Nice, a little bit acidic and refreshing. This is some very good quality beef meat and every bite is a joy. Urnebes time. Not many walnuts inside, but quite creamy, a bit spicy, salty and very tasty. And I left the best for the last. This incredibly looking and smelling lamb. There are lean bits, there are fatty bits, there's this pure muscle here, so let's go. So tasty and so good, not as spicy as beef, but much more tender, again bathing in its own juices. This is just beautiful. This is incredible and it gets better with each bite. This is really, hands down, the best meat, the best food on this table today. Cheers. And just to explain one more thing about this lamb is you can see the skin on top. This means that this clay pot meat was done properly because it was not only boiled, this was stewed and then there's this crust like when you roast meat. So this is 2 in 1 and this is why it's so amazing. Cheers. But let's finish the lunch with this wedding day cabbage. Nice, tasty, a bit fatty, just the way it should be. This was some incredible food, unbelievable food at Pod Sač place, and that lamb just blew me away. Cabbage, wedding day cabbage, and the lamb completely out of this world, but the lamb complete winner. So tasty, nice and sweet lamb. Amazing. But anyway, we have a very busy schedule, so we continue to our next place. Behind me is Mali Podrum. This is a traditional Serbian tavern doing all the local and traditional Serbian foods. So let's go and check them out. Živeli. We got seated at Mali Podrum, which actually means small cellar, and I met up with my longtime friends that I didn't see in a while. And now this is like a small celebration and we're going to enjoy this incredible local food as well. Hvala. Our table is full of different traditional salads and side dishes, and we have pihtije, we have fermented cabbage or sauerkraut, but like a salad. We have trljanica, this is roast pepper with leeks or spring onions. Then we have urnebes, but a little bit different style with white cheese, no paprika, but roast pepper instead. But I want to introduce this. These are called pihtije. This is a trademark of any traditional celebration in Serbia, and this can be translated as pork jelly. Pihtije are made by boiling together pork hooves, pork legs, pork shanks, and also beef hooves or beef legs, and adding some garlic. This is a local delicacy, and we're going to start with this first. Wobbly, jelly, and full of these meaty bits. Well, quite salty as well. The meat is almost melting in your mouth. The jelly structure, quite pleasant, refreshing. And then there's also a taste of garlic. Great stuff. Next thing to try is urnebes, and this is a different variant. No paprika, roast pepper, and white cheese. And we continue with kiseli kupus. The sour cabbage would be literal translation. This is fermented cabbage, Serbian style, and this is used as a salad in winter. It has some paprika and also some sunflower or olive oil on top. Next thing is trljanica. I don't really know how to translate this, but this is made of leeks or spring onions and roast peppers. And I suppose it's spicy as well. Another Serbian trademark, and of course this one is hot as well. And these onions, the spring onions inside, they really give that special flavor to it. And after so many živeli that we said here, I almost forgot to introduce one more thing, živeli. And this is Serbian rakija. This one that I have is šljivovica, the plum brandy, the plum rakija, and this is very strong, locally produced drink. Cheers. Our crazy Serbian feast is on our table, and we got a huge platter of mixed grilled meats, the traditional Serbian grilled meats. We also got a couple of new salads, the roast peppers, the spicy one, non-spicy. We got moravska salad. It's a mix of roast pepper, tomatoes, some other stuff as well. We also got a type of Serbian bruschetta, a baked bread with some oil and paprika on top, and we also got jagnjeće sarme. This is lamb sarma, and these are lamb intestines topped with some eggs and then baked. So, let's begin. Famous Serbian ćevapi. These are the beef meat fingers, and this one is topped with kajmak. So, let's go. Very juicy, very succulent, very, very tasty. And then this is some good quality kajmak on top. Kajmak, or Serbian word would be skorup. And this creates completely different experience. And I continue with another Serbian specialty, and these are the grilled lamb patties, or ovčji uštipci, and this is very juicy, very succulent, has that special taste, so let's go. Has that very nice smoky taste because it was done on a charcoal grill, and of course juiciness, the taste of lamb, that's just a perfect combination. The next thing to try are fried pork intestines, or svinjska crevca, or as waiter told us, the pork chips. Nice and crunchy, quite fatty, and other than that, the taste is quite neutral. There is nothing specific about the taste, but just the texture is very nice. Yes, and it has that charcoal, smoky grill taste. The next thing to try is this delicacy, and this is chicken liver wrapped in bacon and then grilled. The liver is nice and soft, the recognizable chicken liver taste. But then this crunchy bacon on the outside and that smoky taste. This is a perfection, a true perfection. I couldn't wait to try the next dish, jagnjeća sarma or lamb sarma, and it's topped with kiselo mleko. The literal translation would be sour milk, but it's not sour milk. This is something in between this liquidy Serbian yogurt and Greek yogurt. It's less fatty than Greek yogurt and it has more mild taste. Let's go. It's quite meaty, it's quite tasty, also spicy. I feel a little burn in my throat and actually don't really feel intestines. It's like there's more proper meat inside. And also this kiselo mleko, the type of yogurt on top, really improves the things. To refresh things a bit with moravska salad, simple yet very tasty. The taste of this roast pepper is prevalent, the garlic as well. But then tomato just gives that juiciness that, for example, this pepper would lack. This is a newer invention and this is pileći paketić or chicken parcel, and this is chicken breast stuffed with yellow cheese, stuffed with prosciutto or cured ham, and then wrapped in bacon and grilled. What about that? Let's go. Now this here is a grilled poetry. The chicken breast, then this gooey cheese inside, prosciutto or cured ham, and also this wrapped bacon outside, grilled, smoky taste, perfect combination of all these ingredients, and another perfect bite. The desserts are, of course, on the house, and this tavern is recognizable by orasnice. These are walnut cakes. And this is a traditional cake in Serbia, again, something that we remember from our childhood, and it's mostly made of walnuts. So, let's try it. These are finely chopped walnuts with a bit of sugar and also egg whites. And this is very simple cake, but very tasty. This was pretty much expected dinner in Serbia, in Niš, but again, as you can see, this was really incredible. All this variety of grill, all this variety of salads, all this variety of amazing food and drinks as well. Of course, we're gonna try some more foods tomorrow, so see you then. Behind me is a grill shop called Lafa, and this is the typical Serbian street food, the typical Serbian grill, and the most famous of it is Pljeskavica. It looks like a burger, but actually it is quite different. And also there are many other grilled meats like ćevapi that we already tried, and many other stuffed meats and other grilled foods typical for Serbia. So let's check them out. I found a nice place where to sit just nearby, and I got gurmanska pljeskavica, the gourmet pljeskavica stuffed with cheese and some ham, and with toppings I got urnebes cheese, some cabbage, and also some yogurt with gherkins. This looks like a burger, some people translate it as Serbian burger, but actually this is completely different than any burger. The preparation method for this meat is different, and also different types of meat are used. For these you can use pork or beef or mix or even lamb meat. But without further ado, let's go with the first bite. Oh. The bread bun is homemade, it's fresh, hot, quite tasty. The patty, the Pljeskavica, nice, a little bit wiggly, how it should be. And then these toppings as well create some amazing food experience. The meat is nice and juicy, and then this homemade bread is soaked in Pljeskavica juice. This is a perfect Serbian street food on the go. Živeli! Of course, we cannot end this Serbian food tour without something sweet. Behind me is Pelivan Gold, where we're gonna try some traditional local cakes. This is a very old family-owned traditional pastry shop, and they exist for some 70 to 80 years. And these are the typical cakes from Serbia that I grew up with. And even though they originate maybe from different places, this is how they're made here and enjoyed here. And I got tulumba, the very sweet, juicy cake. I also got eclair, the local style, of course. And I got urmašica, and this is another very sweet cake, and I will start with eclair. The recognizable fluffy eclair pastry, and then stuffed with, I think, combination of vanilla and white eggs filling, and of course there's some chocolate on top. The feel is quite light, it's not too sweet, which I prefer. The pastry is nice and fresh, and that chocolate improves everything. Tulumba, another legendary cake here, and this is a very spongy pastry inside, a bit crunchy on the outside, and then soaked in this sweet syrup. Let's go. The cake is very fresh and quite airy, and then there's this crunch on the outside, and it's quite sweet. The last to try is urmašica, quite dense and also soaked in this sweet syrup pastry. This is a sweet pastry soaked in sweet syrup, the same like baklava or tulumba, but also has lemon zest as main ingredient. Quite tasty, quite refreshing, but also quite sweet. Even though all these cakes are nice, my cake of choice would be eclair, because it's quite light, it's not as sweet, I don't prefer too sweet pastries or cakes, and this is just perfect for me. And on this sweet note, we end with our niche food tour. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next time, all the best!